Hello, and welcome to another Crack-a-Pack. Today, I am back with my final Crack-a-Pack for Murders at Karlov Manor. So I have 3 play boosters here for us to open up and make our first 3 draft picks. Let's get started. Inside Source. Rakish Scoundrel. Unscrupulous Agent. Dramatic Accusation. Felonious Rage. Vengeful Creeper. Undercover Crocodile. Living Conundrum. Lightning Helix. Knife. Lush Portico is our rare. And a second rare. Relive the Past. 5 green white for a sorcery. Return up to 1 target artifact card, up to 1 target land card, and up to 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. They are 5/5 elemental creatures in addition to their other types. And a foil Undercity Sewers. A mountain and a clue token. All right. So here is our pack. And unfortunately, despite having 3 rares in the pack, I don't really think I'm interested in any of them as a first pick. our only non-land rare, is very expensive and requires quite a bit of setup and is easily disrupted by things that remove cards from the graveyard. So I don't really think I want to take Relive the Past. And as much as I would love to draft a foil Undercity Sewers, it doesn't really do much for us in terms of building a great deck. So, to me, it's looking like Lightning Helix is the pick. There's not much else in the pack that competes with it, I don't think. So, that would be my pack 1 pick 1. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Alright, let's open up our second pack. Make your move. Granite Witness. Snarling Gorehound. Seasoned Consultant. Jaded Analyst. Nervous Gardener. The chase is on. Culvert Ambusher. Leering Onlooker. Sample Collector. The rare is Case of the Stashed Skeleton. 1 black for an enchantment case. When this case enters the battlefield, create a 2/1 black skeleton creature token and suspect it. To solve, you control no suspected skeletons. Solved. 1 black. Sacrifice this case. Search your library for a card. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. Our second rare is a showcase. Assemble the players. 1 white for an enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library any time. Once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top of your library. A foil lead pipe, a full art forest, and an art card. So here is our pack, and we need to first make a pack 1 pick 1 before making the pack 1 pick 2 to follow up Lightning Helix. So first, looking at our 2 rares, I don't hate the idea of Case of the Stashed Skeleton. I think 2 mana for a 2/1 creature that's suspected is pretty reasonable, and when it inevitably dies, then we can tutor for any card. So I'm actually a little interested in that. I don't think I'm very high on Assemble the Players. Getting access to the top card of your library isn't bad, but I think the use case is a little too narrow for me. So I wouldn't be too excited for this card. I'm not wild about most of the other cards in the pack. Maybe Nervous Gardener is the other one I might consider. But nothing is really jumping out at me as a Windmill Slam first pick. So, as the pack 1 pick 1, I would probably take the case here. And then for our pack 1 pick 2, I am probably looking at Make Your Move. I think it's a decent removal spell, especially if we're bought into the idea of potentially being white-red, because these low-to-the-ground aggro decks sometimes struggle dealing with larger creatures. So having a spell that destroys large creatures is certainly useful. So I think I would take that as the second pick. And move right along to our pack 1 pick 3. Macabre Reconstruction. Riftburst Hellion. Makeshift Binding. Projector Inspector. Goblin Maskmaker. Public Thoroughfare. convenient target. Curious Cadaver. Agency Outfitter. Runebrand Juggler. The rare is Tolsimir Midnight's Light. 2 green, white, white for a 3/2 legendary creature, Elf Scout. Lifelink. When Tolsimir Midnight's Light enters the battlefield, create Voja Fernstalker, a legendary 5/5 green and white wolf creature token with trample. Whenever a wolf you control attacks, if Tolsimir attacked this combat, target creature an opponent controls blocks that wolf this combat, if able. A foil concealed weapon. A mentor of the meek from the list. A foil island. And a Thopter. So there's no question in my mind that the pack 1 pick 1 for this pack is Tolsimir. For 5 mana you get 8 power on the board, 3 of which is lifelink and 5 of which is trample. The 5/5 is probably bigger than most other things on the board, and Tolsimir protects himself by forcing a creature to block the wolf. So, really excellent card, and I would 100% take that as the pack 1 pick 1. For the pick 2, I feel like we could go in a few different directions. I think Makeshift Binding and Projector Inspector are both really good. So, whether or not I'm thinking about pairing with black, I would probably be pulling these cards to the front to just consider on their own. I'm pretty high on Makeshift Binding in most situations overall, so I would likely be considering that very highly. We do also have Runebrand Juggler, which I also think is pretty strong on its own, and shines the most in a deck with a lot of suspect in it, which we're honestly off to a good start with here, with the Stashed Skeleton. In that context, I think that's kind of putting Runebrand Juggler higher up for me. it honestly takes a lot for me to want to consider anything else above makeshift binding, but I would be curious to see how a Rakdos Suspect deck could shape up. So I think I'm actually going to take Runebrand Juggler here. And then makeshift binding would be the obvious choice to go into our red-white deck. So I do like how that's shaping up, given that all these decks are heads up. But just out of curiosity, if we did go with makeshift binding as the pack 1 pick 2, what would our pick 3 end up looking like? We could think about Convenient Target. I'm also kind of looking at Mentor of the Meek, which I know really goes against what I was saying in the last pack, where Assemble the Players is very much along the same lines for creatures with power 2 or less. And then there is still Projector Inspector, which could potentially go in this deck for sure. I wouldn't mind having blue-white with a splash of red, or the other way around. So, yeah, maybe it would look something like that. But, as always, I am curious to hear what you think. Make sure you leave me a comment and tell me which cards you would have taken from each pack, and I would love to talk with you about it. But I will put this back in its first configuration, and we will wrap it up. And there we have it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I very much appreciate your support, whether you're just hanging out and listening, or contributing to the conversation by leaving a comment. Every like and every new subscriber really means the world to me, and I would very much appreciate if you enjoy my content, if you would hit any of those buttons down below, and I'll be back every Monday and Friday with new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos. But that is all for today. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.